inside. The mind of a real-life ghost hunter. Low whispers, footsteps on creaking wood. A flashlight beam cuts across a dark hallway. Every year, more than 40% of Americans swear they've felt a ghost. Tonight, we tail one of them. Let's call her Maya, as she slips into the ruins of St. Agnes Hospital. She's hauling EMF meters, night vision cameras, and a quiet, stubborn hope that something answers when she whispers into the dark. But what if that chill on her neck, the hiss in her earpiece, the flicker at the end of the hall aren't dead folks dropping by? What if they're just echoes bouncing around her own head? Fear, grief, and the old itch to make sense of the dark. The need for meaning. Maya's day job? Insurance billing. At 5:01 p.m., she trades spreadsheets for spirit boxes because, as she puts it, I want proof that death isn't the period at the end of the sentence. Sounds mystical, right? Yet, it's also painfully predictable. Humans are hardwired pattern seekers. Feed us radio static and we'll yank out words. Show us a burnt slice of toast and boom, Virgin Mary. Psychologists call it apophenia, the brain's allergy to randomness. Ghost hunting hands randomness a name, a face, and a plot twist. Instead of a universe where lousy stuff happens for no reason, Maya steps into a story where every cold spot is intentional, every crackle a message. Spooky meaning beats no meaning every time. Cognitive biases in action. Picture yourself in St. Agnes's morgue. Temperature drops 3 degrees. K2 meter blinks red. Your brain hits turbo mode. First, pareidolia kicks in. That hiss on the recorder. Totally the word, help. Next, confirmation bias slams the door. You wanted contact, so the 40 minutes of silence get tossed, and the one creepy syllable goes in the highlight reel. Finally, your memory edits on the fly. By tomorrow, the little red blink has ballooned into a crimson flare that lit up the whole room. These aren't glitches, they're features. We evolved to spot leopards in tall grass, not to fine-tune infrared readings. Ghost hunters just point those ancient settings at abandoned hospitals. Environment as amplifier. Place matters. St. Agnes drips suggestion, peeling paint like flaking skin. Gurneys left mid-corridor as if everyone vanished mid-sneeze. Researchers at the University of Essex found that infrasound, vibrations under 20 hertz, can make you feel dread, chest pressure, even mess with your vision. Old vents, subway rumbles, a stiff breeze through broken windows, all infrasound factories. Drop a suggestible human into that subaudible soup, and congratulations, you've built the perfect haunt. Now cue the social priming. The crew tells the tale of the nurse who hanged herself in the elevator shaft, and every clank becomes her noose. Expectation is scaffolding. Once it's up, the mind happily lays the bricks. Emotional payoff. Maya's dad died when she was 11. She never got to say goodbye. When I hear a voice on the spirit box, even if it's just static, I feel like maybe he's heard me all these years. Grief is a hole, and paranormal belief is shaped exactly to plug it. Anthropologist David Hufford's surveys show over half of all ghost encounters happen within a year of losing someone. The brain, desperate for continuity, stages reunions in attics, ICUs, driver's seats at 2 a.m. It's not delusion, it's triage. The real haunting isn't the room, it's the unmet need pacing inside the mourner. Cognitive dissonance and the hunt. Every honest investigator eventually slams into the wall. The EVP that's just a squeaky chair, the shadow figure that's a moth on the lens. Cognitive dissonance, the ache between I believe and the evidence just ghosted me. The mind patches it two ways. Some crank the filter tighter, blame cell phone interference, insist skeptics poison the vibes, buy more blinking toys. Others ease their grip, admit the chair squeaks, and keep hunting anyway, because the ritual itself is the balm. Dark halls, reciting the names of the dead. Either way, the hunt rolls on. The ghosts just move a little closer to home. If these ideas are scratching at the back of your skull, hit subscribe. There's more coming about why the strangest things we see are usually the things we packed in our own baggage. Drop a comment. What's the one experience you can't explain, and what would convince you it was all upstairs? Personality and tribe. Ghost hunting crews aren't random. They skew high on openness, empathy, and absorption. That knack for losing yourself in music or a novel. They're also night owls who find clarity at 2 a.m. when the mental filter's thin. Mixed gender teams mirror everyday scripts. Guys narrate in conquest, speak. We're provoking it tonight. Women lean caregiving. We want to help them find peace. Each role props up the other. The skeptic feels rational. The believer, spiritually dialed in. Under stress, the roles calcify until both are sprinting after the same EMF spike. Wide-eyed equals in the dark. Spirituality without dogma. Maya's not religious. Raised Catholic, she drifted after her dad's funeral felt like paperwork. Ghost hunting became her off-brand sacrament. Darkness for a nave, recorder for a confessional. Pew says 1 in 3 Americans now call themselves spiritual, but not religious. For them, the paranormal is DIY afterlife. No clergy needed. They borrow smudge sticks from indigenous practice, EVP protocols from Edison-era spiritualists, blend them into a Spotify playlist of belief where energy never dies. It just hangs around waiting for a battery chat. The twist? The gadgets, EMF readers, infrared cams, look like science but act like ritual objects, giving the operator that sweet illusion of control. The real ghost. 6 hours later, Maya packs up. No apparitions on film, no Class A EVP she can post with a straight face. Yet she looks lighter, like the night air lifted something heavier than evidence. Maybe the point isn't to prove ghosts exist, she says, zipping her backpack. Maybe it's to prove I can face the dark and come out okay. That loops us back to the core insight, the most haunted place in Saint. Agnes isn't the morgue or the elevator shaft. It's the space between Maya's ears, where memories, fears, and the hunger for meaning swirl like dust in a flashlight beam. The ghost she's hunting? An echo of her own unfinished story. Next time you spot a flashlight bobbing down a hallway on your screen, remember you're not just watching a hunt for phantoms. You're watching a human brain doing what it's always done. Connecting stars, hearing voices in wind, spinning narrative out of static because the alternative feels too cold. The gear evolves, the hospital rots, the language shifts from spirits to energies, but the machinery inside the skull stays ancient and hungry. That, more than any EVP, is the whisper in the dark. Tell me I matter. Tell me there's more. Thanks for walking the corridors with us. If this reframed your own late-night creaks, share the video. It helps more than you know. And if you hear something strange tonight, ask yourself, who or what inside me needed that sound to be real? Thank you for watching Fear Files Real Nightmares. Until next time, keep your lights on and your doors locked.